Greetings everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aaron and I'm a guild leader at Vital Point AI. Today we're going to demo a Near Guild's onboarding and guild management application that's been built using Near, Ceramic in the graph, and it has a React front end. Now, the reasoning behind this application is discussed a bit more in the article linked below, but the general gist of it is that Near has a guilds program, and I'm suggesting that we use Web3 tools to do the onboarding of new guild leaders to help them get their guilds up and running. It has a number of benefits to doing that. First being that it puts some things on chain, so we can finally get a better idea of what guilds belong to the ecosystem, what they're doing, and then make that information available to other applications in the ecosystem. It puts data related to the guild in the hands of the guild leader where it belongs. So for instance, instead of submitting a PR to a GitHub repo to update some guild information, it can be done in the application, and then that information will just automatically propagate anywhere else that information is being used. It enables the guild program itself to implement some roles, specifically around administrators and verifiers, to do some unique things with guilds, which we'll see in the demo here. And then it also makes it easier to communicate with guild leaders kind of as a collective and share information of things happening in the ecosystem. And finally, it sets the foundation for a lot of other Web3 type features that we can put into it going forward, making it valuable, as valuable as we can for both guild leaders looking to grow their guilds, as well as the guild program itself in terms of understanding and communicating with the entire guild ecosystem. So we're going to run through the demo from a couple of different perspectives. First, as a guild leader who's new to the ecosystem, has a vision, wants to start a guild, basically how do they take that first step, and then where do they go? We want to give them a guided pathway to doing that. And we'll see how that is addressed in the app. Second, we'll take a look as kind of the super admin of the application and kind of talk about why it's required. And then third, we'll take a look at some roles we make in terms of admin or verifiers. With an administrator basically being somebody with the same permissions as the super admin, but without the ability to transfer the app to somebody else. And then verifiers are envisioned to be more like staff of the guild program, that they're going to follow some still yet to be determined process to basically verify and then tier the various guilds that get created. So without further ado, let's jump into the application and see how this thing works. All right, I'm just going to share my screen here and we'll jump right into the application. And let's look at that full screen. Okay, so first perspective, a new guild leader, somebody new to the ecosystem, has a vision for a guild. They landed on the guilds program page on near.org or something, and then they've been redirected to this application in order to set up their guild. So they land on this page here. They get an overview of what the steps are going to be as part of this onboarding. First, they'll take a pledge and get a little more information about what each of those is, and we'll cover them as we go through. They'll describe their guild and their vision, and then do some management of the guild. So they get going. So the first thing that we ask, and this is kind of a just kind of set the stage in terms of expectations and standards for the guilds. I'm saying that we should probably have some kind of pledge whereby a new guild leader basically promises or creates a social contract with Near to basically say they're going to align their guild with the values and beliefs of the Near ecosystem. They want to grow and nurture a community that's welcome to everybody, diverse and inclusive. They're going to act with integrity, collaborate professionally with the other guilds and the guild leaders out there, be transparent and accountable with any guild resources under their charge, and then lead the guild to the best of their ability, guiding, mentoring, and so on and so forth. So if they agree with this, then they just simply hit I pledge. And at this point, they will need to connect to the application with an account. And we're gonna start completely from scratch and assume that this person doesn't even have an account. So they'll firstly create a new account, and we'll call this one Guild Leader. Let's say Tom's Guild. Now Tom, our guild leader, has an account which he can now connect to the application, and this account becomes the guild's account. Now, because Tom is in control of this, he's going to be able to change any data related to the guild. So now that he's founded the guild, basically set up its account, he's going to get a secret phrase, another one, which is for the actual the data stream for the account. So this is the ceramic integration, and basically it allows a decentralized identifier to be created, which is we call it a DID. And then that DID is now portable across any other application. You can look it up on the Ceramic network and get any information that's been associated with it. And that makes changing things like profile information for the guild and a whole bunch of other features available. So he's going to choose option 1. He doesn't have a secret phrase here, so Tom's going to get his first phrase, and it's all that this is strictly for the data stream. Anyways, write it down, set it, and with that, a decentralized identifier has been created. Now we're asking Tom to register his guild, put it on chain, so that we can go towards verifying it, give it different tier levels and whatnot. It enables guild discoverability, making it easier for people to join and participate in his guild. And then it's going to open up things later on with respect to leaderboards and reputation and rewards and so on and so forth. So in order to cut down on the friction, we've basically put a funding account in the background. So when you decides to register, there won't be any requests to sign anything or any gas fees. It's using the funding account to do that for Tom. So very simple and easy. Next, we get to describing the guild and why it's going to exist. So this is basically where he starts building out the profile for the guild. So. And the last thing here being the near contract account. If they have a NFT that is for their logo, they can put the contract information here, and then it'll display their NFT as their logo. I should point out too, the logo here with the image, it's uploaded to IPFS, and then a CID of that image is put into the ceramic data stream to access it. So it's all completely decentralized. Guild values. So what does the guild hold dear to them? I'll add a few here. So inclusiveness. And these are used or will be used in the future to basically match people to guilds and give them recommendations of the guilds that they might be interested in based on their values and skills. So we'll add 3 there, and then some specific skills. So skydiving, for pilot, that'd be cool. and one more as a backer. Cool. So we'll submit that. And at this point, the guild is basically created and it has a profile. And like I said, this profile is now portable. Anybody, anywhere can just create a ceramic instance and look up the DID and get the information that's publicly available, which makes this very handy. They can manage their profile in one spot and it propagates anywhere else. Beauty of Web3. All right, so we've got Tom's Para Guild profile all set up here. So, you know, it's set up like a typical profile, typical logo, name, says whether it's registered or not. In this case, it has been registered. All the notification icons, and this is all based on the information that was entered in the last step there. And of course, got all the general info, when it was founded, updated, category, purpose, and values and skills, and so on and so forth. One thing I'll point out here is that because Tom's logged into his account, he has the ability to turn email notifications on or off. We've hooked this up to Sendy on the back end, and we run this at Funnel.ai on our guild, and we've got a brand set up for new guilds. So you can see here with just a quick click, if we go back here, now I've been subscribed to Tom's Para part here, so now the application can send out notifications or messages to all the guild leaders, and anybody that's on this list is then going to get them. And at the same time, yeah, we've been welcomed to near guilds in my email. And head back here. Also, from a guild leader perspective, let's take a look at the other stuff that's here. So they have their dashboard, which is their profile, which they can edit at will, recover it if they lose their seed phrase, they can enter that in as well. They can manage registration, so if at some point they decide, no, I don't want to be part of the guild anymore, they can simply come here and unregister. And again, this is hooked up to the funding account, so there's no gas with it. So if we head back here, we should see that he's no longer registered. But we want to be registered, so we'll just go back and turn that back on. Cool. Announcements. So like I said, the application has the ability to send out the emails to the list, and those announcements will also show up here. So they have a record of everything that the app has fired out. And then to come leaderboards and rewards and a couple other things. And these things aren't hooked up yet. The other point here is that you can explore guilds. So this is hooked up to a subgraph on the graph, which we built for this, which is indexing all the information that's coming out of the registry contract, which keeps track of the account and what DID it has. So we can look that up on the Ceramic Network. And then yeah, get all that information from here. So all this information is also available via the subgraph that's worked into this. So as you see, we currently have 3 guilds here. This is a verification icon here. So Tom's Para is here, it's registered, but it is not yet verified. This is a tier indication symbol here as to what tier it has. All the notifications, the category, which enables some searching, the purpose, click on look at it, and of course you click on it, you head over to there to get more information about it. Let's head back here for a sec. The other feature we built in here is a way to kind of indicate which guilds people like, and then we can sort the list based on that. So just click on the up arrow, for instance, and you now has 1 like, and it's 1 account, you get 1 vote basically. And yeah, so that's the ability to explore those, and we'll go from there. So that's basically it from the guild leader's perspective. Now let's sign out and take a look at this application from the super admin's perspective. And as I mentioned, the super admin is basically when the contracts and the application is deployed, it's the one account that basically has the ability to change everything. Super admin. Now we could DAOify it and make it so that it's democratically selected who that is, and then transfer ownership to them or whatnot. But at this point, keeping this a little bit centralized so that we can do upgrades to the contracts and things is kind of the way it's going to go for now. But it could change in the future. So let's log in as it. So now super admin can set a profile if they wanted and whatnot as well. We don't really need to do that right now, but what I'm going to show you here is we now have an admin area, and we'll cover a couple of the admin settings that the super admin has for this app. So first one being the funding. So this is the funding account that's been set up to handle the registrations. So it currently has a balance in it at 11, and if it gets low, the admin can come here and top it up simply by doing this and sending some more money to it. The key that is allowed to spend for this application, it has an allowance set for it. Set it at 2. And it's going to take a long time based on the registration amounts. It's a pretty minuscule amount to register a guild for that to drop down, but eventually once it gets down, we'll have to come in and reset the allowance basically of that key. So that's easily done there. The super admin can also add other administrators, and then those admins can then add admins after that as well. So in this case, there's one administrator right now, and it's the super admin. But you would come in here and you could designate any other account. So for instance, if we wanted, what we call it, Tom's Guild to be, he's not valid because he's not verified, and he is registered, but he also has to be a verified account. So let's see if I did one. Crazy Bird. Yeah. So we can add Crazy Bird here. Now these do require a trip to the near wallet to do the authorization, and I think that's important in order to keep a record of who's making admins or verifiers. So you can add additional admins here. In addition, we can add verifiers. So these are people who we want to basically verify guilds and then assign tiering. So basically staff of the guilds program. So they would be identified by somebody at near, I assume, and then we'd add them in here so they have that permission to be able to go in and do the verifications. They can be added and removed and whatnot and what's so forth. To be a verifier, you have to have a valid registered account name and obviously not be a verifier yet. So that's that piece. And then you can send messages to all the guilds. So we'll do just a test announcement. If I could spell. And you could use HTML here, and it will send both an HTML and a plain text version of the message depending on the user's email settings. So this is a test. We'll add a little emoji just for the fun of it. And hit send. Now it's gonna campaign's created and it's now sending. So if we were to head back here and take a look at all the campaigns, I believe. Sent a couple here, and so it just sent this last one to 2 recipients. Check my email. I should have an email here that says this is a test. Voila, have been notified. In addition, that is now also in the announcements area here in case people didn't want to turn on email notifications. They can just use the app to get the notifications. Can't see it yet because it hasn't been indexed by the subgraph. Let's try it again here, see if it shows up. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay between the indexing. So there's the test announcement. This is a test. And it looks like I got a bug in that it didn't put all the announcements there. So I'll look to fix that. But anyways, yeah, that's that. So that is the super admin, and the super admin basically is going to come in here once, set up some admins and verifiers, and then let them take care of the application. So I'm going to sign out. Just recall that Crazy Bird here is a verifier. So I'm now going to sign in from the perspective of Crazy Bird and see what a verifier can do in the application. Crazy Bird. Once we get back in here, so you can see here Crazy Bird's actually been verified, so they get an extra little badge there, and email notifications on, not much in their profile. Anyways, they also do not get access to the admin tab. That's just for administrators, but they are a verifier. So when we go and explore guilds, we seem to be missing Tom's para here for some reason. Not sure where it went, but I'll look into that. But we can still get the gist of what a verifier can do here. So for instance, with Birdie Guild down here, they can, whatever process gets put in place to verify that this is actually in your guild and good to go. Then once that is complete, they can come in here, hit verify, which makes them sign a transaction, prove it. And this, we could set this up so that there's no gas here either, but I think it's important that we keep a record of who's verifying that a guild is actually verified. So that's what this provides. We'll get back here and you can see that it is now verified. And we can also set whatever tier of guild it is. So say it's a tier 3 guild. Again, sign a quick transaction. And we get back. It's now a tier 3 guild. So if you can imagine, the guild pro can have some staff that are verifiers, and they're responsible for checking on the status of these guilds and making sure they stay good to go. You know, this will obviously become a bit unwieldy in the future, but we'll add some filters in here to just show the verified guilds or the unverified guilds. So depending if you're just somebody browsing the various guilds, or if you're a verifier, it's easier for you to find what you need to find. As well, you can search by, and it's hooked up to category at the moment, so neither of these have categories set, but we can expand the guild discoverability as well. And because all these guilds and profiles have skills and things associated with them, the individual onboarding application that will kind of mirror a bit of what's happening here, but for individuals, at the end of their onboarding, they'll be presented with guilds that share the same interests and values that they may want to join, and then there'll be an option to join guilds from there. So yeah, that is the guilds application. All right, let's just stop the screen share here for a second. And that there is the guilds platform and application that we've been working on. I think it's going to be a huge step forward in getting guild leaders up to speed and help them build their guilds going forward. Easier for guild leaders and the guild program people to basically manage what's happening in the guild world, communicate a bit more, share best practices, that sort of thing. So I think it's a great step forward. You can reach out to me if you have any suggestions or feedback on what you've seen here. Remember, VitalPoint AI is a NEAR guild, and if you're interested in building things for NEAR, reach out to us. We have a Discord server. Feel free to join. We take anybody, any kind of level of experience, and we do our best to bring you up to a point where you can contribute to projects like this. We also build subgraphs for the graph and do a bunch of other fun things, submit projects for hackathons. We just did that as well. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more about building on NEAR or with Web3 tools, come join our guild. Vitalpoint.ai is our website. I'll have the link below as well. And yeah, like this video, subscribe, join us. We'd be more than happy to have you. I hope you like what you saw today, and please get in touch.